This is a Fonzie Studio podcast. Welcome to Tales from the First Nations. I'm Jay Idle, and every week I'll share with you a tale and ancient wisdom of the native tribes of North America. I'll be joined by my cats, Dawa and Fonzie, who will undoubtedly make their presence known at some point, so I might as well just list them as co-hosts. We hope you'll enjoy the tales and wisdom, raise your vibration, and enrich your life with us every week. Welcome, friends. Welcome to the 21st episode of Tales from the First Nations. I am your host, Jay Idle. I remember many years ago, I was living in Gahanna, Ohio, and I was preparing to go to work. I left my apartment building, walked to my car, got in the car, pulled the door closed, looked out the windshield, and there was a large grassy area between my apartment building and the next building over, and it was a terrifying sight to behold on this day, because that grassy area was filled with hundreds of crows. I remember looking at them and wondering if that meant I was going to die that day. See, crows are such fascinating birds because they're extremely intelligent and curious about everything. They're also so connected with mysticism and omens and messages from the divine, but they're also symbolic of the cycle of life and death. So I feel like if I'd seen one crow, I'd had a feeling of happiness. I'd been like, woohoo, what a great day this is gonna be. But the fact that there were hundreds of them, I felt pretty doomed. I thought perhaps this was the end for me. Well, the good news is I did not die that day. And I don't really remember anything else about that day aside from the crows. So I'm guessing it was a rather mundane day. But if you dig into it a little deeper, the crows are sometimes seen as protectors, watching over and guiding those that they guard. Well, perhaps I might have been in a lot of trouble if those crows hadn't stopped by to look out for me, because I do remember driving slower on the highway that day and taking less risks than usual. So perhaps their presence changed my behavior in a way that may have saved my life. So thank you, crows. If you look around on YouTube, there's a lot of videos that can show you how to make friends with crows, and this seems really cool to me. Essentially, really all you need to do is to find a place where crows hang out and then stop by and feed them consistently at the same time every day. Eventually, they get used to you and they stick around to see you there, and they start leaving you gifts to reciprocate the friendship. However, if you do this, you should never disrespect them. If they leave you a gift, you should take it, whatever it is. Because if they like you, you have a friend for life. If you scare them or you make them angry, then you have created an enemy for life, and they will go out of their way to make your life hard. So be kind to crows. It's good for you and it's good for them. Today's story is from the Inuit people of Alaska, and it features a crow. The crow is the hero who gives them the gift of daylight. See, as you travel up into Alaska, as you probably know, they have sunlight for about half the year. But before the crow came to help them out, well, there was no sunlight at all. A long time ago, when the world was first born, it was always dark in the north where the Inuit people lived. They thought it was dark all over the world until an old crow told them about daylight and how he had seen it on his long journeys. The more they heard about daylight, the more the people wanted it. We can hunt further and for longer, they said. We could see the polar bears coming and run before they attack us. The people begged the crow to go and bring them the daylight, but he didn't want to. It's a long way, and I'm too old to fly that far, he said. But the people begged until he finally agreed to go. He flapped his wings and launched into the dark sky towards the east. He flew for a long time until his wings grew tired. He was about to turn back when he saw the dim glow of daylight in the distance. "At last, there is daylight," said the tired crow. As he flew towards the dim light, it became brighter and brighter until the whole sky was bright and he could see for miles. The exhausted bird landed in a tree near a village, wanting to rest because it was very cold. And while he landed on a branch to rest for a moment, he looked down and he saw the daughter of the chief, and she was on her way to get water from the river. As she dipped her bucket into the icy water, Crow turned himself into a speck of dust and drifted down onto her fur cloak. When she walked back to her father's snow lodge, she carried him with her. Inside the snow lodge, it was warm and bright. The girl took off her cloak, and the speck of dust drifted towards the chief's grandson, who was playing on the lodge floor. It floated into the child's ear, and he started to cry. "What's wrong? Why are you crying?" asked the chief, who was sitting at the fire. "Tell him you want to play with the ball of daylight," whispered the dust. The chief wanted his favorite grandson to be happy and told his daughter to fetch the box of daylight balls. When she opened it for him, he took out a small ball, wrapped a string around it, and gave it to his grandson. The speck of dust scratched the child's ear again, making him cry. "What's wrong, child?" asked the chief. "Tell him you want to play outside," whispered the crow. The child did so, and the chief and his daughter took him out into the snow. As soon as they left the snow lodge, the speck of dust turned back into a crow again. He put out his claws, grasped the string of the ball of daylight, and flew into the sky, heading west. Finally, he reached the land of the Inuit again, and when he let go of the string, the ball dropped to the ground and shattered into tiny pieces. Light went in every home, and the darkness left the sky. All the people came from their houses. "We can see for miles. Look how blue the sky is, and the mountains in the distance. We couldn't see them before." They thanked Crow for bringing daylight to their land. He shook his beak. "I could only carry one small ball of daylight, and it'll need to gain its strength from time to time, so you'll only have daylight for half the year." The people said, "But we're happy to have daylight for half the year. Before you brought the ball to us, it was dark all the time." And so that is why, in the land of the Inuit, in the far north, it is dark for half of the year and light for the other. The people never forgot it was Crow who brought them the gift of daylight, and they take care to never hurt him in case he decides to take it back. The kind and wise old crow gifted the Inuit people with daylight. So just think of what a wise old crow could do for you. Where I live now, I've never seen a crow here, but I have seen many magpies, and magpies are related to crows. You know what? Maybe we'll talk about magpies next week. Something to look forward to. Thank you for joining me on my journey and on this podcast. I wish you well and look forward to sharing another story with you next week. Go in peace, return in peace, and may you be well. Our main story today came from thesingingscoutmaster.com. For more great stories and legends, check out the Jaguar Bird channel on YouTube. There's a lot of wonderful content there. And of course, join me here next week for another story on Tales from the First Nations. I'm Jay Idle, and I'll talk to you next time. The music you hear right now behind me is provided by my dear friend Scott Brocklesby, and our podcast image of the moon was provided by Mark Lawton. We will see you next time. All right, that's it. How'd we do, Dawa? Phones? Excellent. Then I'll share it.